Let me ask you something. What if the biggest risk for a new freight broker has nothing to do with finding customers or getting good rates? What if it's a huge blind spot that can totally sink your business before you even really get started? Well, let's get into it. It's the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? Why do so many new freight brokers end up failing? You might think it's the market or tough competition, but the real reason, it's actually way simpler. And honestly, a little shocking. You heard that right. The whole path to failure can start with just two basic everyday tasks that most rookies just completely misunderstand. And if you get these wrong, you're setting yourself up for a really tough time from day one. All right, so here it is. This is the first big secret that separates the pros from the rookies. See, amateurs look at a load board and they just see a place to advertise. The professionals, they see a minefield. And this right here, this is the whole game. A rookie thinks, I'm just finding the cheapest truck. A pro knows, I'm selecting a partner who I'm going to be liable with. That simple shift in thinking, it is absolutely everything. Okay, so think about it like this. Every single time you post a load, you're not just showing the freight details. You're showing your hand. You're broadcasting your experience level or your lack of it. And you better believe that experienced carriers and, more importantly, scammers can smell a rookie a mile away just from that post. So, how do they know? What are these dead giveaways? Well, it usually boils down to 5 common mistakes that basically scream, I'm new at this. Let's break them down so you know exactly what to avoid. First up, mistake number 1. And this is a classic, over-disclosure. Giving away way too much information up front. You might think you're just being helpful, but what you're really doing is laying all your cards on the table for everyone to see, including the sharks. See, when you post these super specific pickup times, these really rigid details, you're basically shouting to the world, I have zero backup plan. And that's like blood in the water for certain carriers who know exactly how to exploit that inflexibility. A pro, on the other hand, they control the information. They give out details when they're ready to. All right, mistake number 2 is posting a fixed all-in rate with absolutely no wiggle room. You're essentially painting yourself into a financial corner before you even start. Look, we all know freight can be messy, right? Delays happen, detention is a real thing. And if you've locked yourself into a fixed rate, well, guess who's eating those costs? Yep, you are. It tells everyone you haven't planned for the unexpected, and all that financial heat comes right back onto your shoulders. Okay, this next one is a little more subtle, but man, is it dangerous. It's when you fail to state your clear expectations for the carrier right from the get-go. Let me give you a golden rule for this industry. If it ain't in writing, it doesn't exist. Period. So if you don't specifically say no rebrokering, or you don't specify the exact equipment you need, you're just automatically accepting all the risk that comes with it. Your silence basically creates a weak spot, and it almost always leads to a massive headache down the road. And now for mistake number 4. Oh, this one gets so many people. It's that temptation, that siren song of the lowest possible bid. It is probably the most common trap out there, and trust me, it is an expensive one. Let's just be real for a second. The cheapest rate is almost never the best value. It often comes as a package deal that includes terrible communication, missing paperwork, and just zero accountability. That great deal can very quickly turn into your most expensive failure. And finally, the last red flag mistake, just acting like problems will never happen. Kind of sticking your head in the sand and hoping for the best. Well, newsflash, hope is not a business strategy. Any little detail you kind of sweep under the rug now, I guarantee you it's going to pop back up later as a full-blown fight. A professional broker talks about the tough stuff, detention, layovers, all of it, before they book the truck. It's not being negative, it's being a pro. It shows you've thought this through. Okay, so enough about what not to do. Let's flip this around. How do you actually get it right? Well, it's not about crossing your fingers and hoping. It's about having a system. And the pros, they run every single carrier through what I like to call a 4-layer filter. And look, this isn't just some boring checklist. It's a progressive filter. You start by just verifying who they are. Then you pay really close attention to how they communicate. Next, you go over their documents with a fine-tooth comb. And only then do you decide if their risk profile is a good match for your load. Because that's what you're really doing. You're choosing a partner, not just hiring a truck. So after all that vetting, all that work, we get to the moment of truth, the point of no return. It's that moment when you finally make the call and hit send on that rate confirmation. And this right here is another one of those huge differences between amateurs and pros. The rookie lets out a huge sigh of relief. Phew, that's done. But the professional? The professional knows the real work has just begun. Because that single click, that's the moment it all becomes real. The second that carrier is officially booked, a massive chunk of the operational risk, the liability, all of it, it transfers directly to you. It is on your shoulders now. And there is no undo button. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought, because it really ties this all together perfectly. Your load post, that's the invitation you send out to the world. It determines who even sees you. But your carrier selection process, that determines who's going to be standing with you when things inevitably go wrong. Manage both of those with intention, and you'll build a business that's meant to last.